And in case you don't have the little interpretation button, you can go in. Look at the bottom of your slide. Then you can click at the world symbol and then click your language. So this is as use translation. Everything is in English and then translated to Spanish. Oh, you can Spanish.
Bless you.
That's it. All
Yeah,
you
Barbara,
do.
go ahead. Did someone have a question? Okay, I know that I don't know, Myrna. You were breaking up a little bit on my end. I don't know if it was for everybody else as well. But essentially, she was saying that if you are joining us, you should at the bottom of your screen have a thing for translation, and you can change from English to Spanish down there by clicking on it. If you don't see it, click on the three dots that say more. It should pop up. I
I
think
will
that.
I will put them also in the chat.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And welcome everybody, and thanks for joining in on this month's Lunch and Learn session. This is the program whereby with the Science of Mind Archives, we play a recording of our founder, Ernest Holmes, hopefully one that you maybe have never heard before, and we discuss it in small groups and in a large group. And that's where we're going for the next few minutes, and then we'll close with some announcements and information about the archives itself. But we always like to begin all of our processes with prayer. And so this morning, what I'm going to do, or this lunchtime, noontime here today, I think I'll open us in prayer today. So let's just go within in this moment. And so as we shift our attention and focus from whatever we were doing into this moment right now, we know that we give thanks for this blessings of this technology, which brings us together, that we allow this technology to remind us of the one mind, and that it's an expression of that one mind as it brings all of this individualized expressions of the one together for this sharing and this contact and this wisdom and this growing. So we know that there's only that one life, and that life is our life right in this moment, that we come together in the celebration and joyful expansion of the ideas of science of mind within our own pockets of consciousness within us, and that we express it not only in our dialogue today with each and every person on this call, but also we take the wisdom that we gain today and apply it in our lives so that we can be a conduit for peace, joy, harmony, and goodness expressing on planet Earth. So we know that all of this is serving us in most wonderful and glorious ways. And I simply release these words into the law, knowing that it's so, and so it is. So, as I mentioned a moment ago, what we're going to be doing is,
Mark, please,
yes.
can you slow down a little bit,
Oh,
please?
thank you. And I think I got a little excited there with the prayer and in the flow. So, but at this point, I will take my English down a notch in its flow. What we're going to be doing this today is like we do in all days, and that's a sharing of one of the wonderful recordings of Ernest Holmes. Hopefully, everybody here is aware of the fact that Ernest Holmes did radio shows, he did phonograph records, we have recordings of his Sunday talks, we have recordings of his TV shows, and we have been posting these out on the Science of Mind Archives website. If you are a friend of the archive or a website subscriber, you have access for not only streaming these live, but for downloading them and playing them to your heart's content offline. These are beautiful recordings which can support your spiritual growth and hope that you find beneficial. What we're going to be doing today is listening to a recording from Dr. Holmes from April 16th of 1950. This is from his most famous radio show, the one known as This Thing Called Life. Many of you have probably heard some recordings from this radio show before. Just as an FYI, Ernest did radio shows starting in the 1920s up through 1959. He passed away in 1960, of course, but he did many radio shows, many radio shows. And so the one that's most famous is the one that ran from 1949 through around 1952, before he turned it over to another minister to take on the program. But this uh, period of time, he did a show on the ABC radio network in the western part of the United States, and his show was carried on many stations on ABC throughout California and some surrounding states. It's known as this thing called Life. The program had a format of an announcer, an opening prayer, some music, organ music, and his message. They would come back with some Science of Mind announcements, and then there would be closing announcements and prayer. So it was a format that took about 30 minutes, but the message part of the radio shows were around 15 to 20 minutes. And that's what we're going to be listening to today from April 16th, 1950, a program called The Secret of Success. What we're going to do is listen to this recording, and as you're listening to it, I want you to think about, I'm going to throw some questions out to you now for you to think about in terms of what you might contemplate as you're listening to Dr. Holmes. One of these questions is, what's one new thing you're hearing from this recording from him that maybe you'd never thought about before? So what's something new? Secondly, we all come to the table with our own ideas about science of mind, but we forget some of the concepts. So I would say the second thing to think about is, what's something that Dr. Holmes said that you already knew, but he just reminded you of it, and you needed that reminder today. So what's a reminder he's given you? Finally, got two more questions to contemplate. And you don't have to answer all of these. This is just to jog your thoughts as you're listening. But what is something that you can apply? What's something that you hear him talking about that perhaps you can apply in your life right now? So again, something new, something old that you're reminded of, and something that you can apply. And the final question is, since it's talking about the secret of success, you might want to listen to what exactly is the secret of success. So if you could put the secret of success in your own words, that would be a wonderful thing too. But anything you get out of it is perfect. I just want to say that. Those are just some joggers for you as you go through the process of listening to this recording. After we finish the recording, we'll come back. I'll very quickly remind you of those questions. We'll go into some small groups and discuss it further, then come back for a larger group. So unless there's any questions, which you can have, if you have a question, raise your virtual hand by clicking on raise hand on the bottom of your screen. And it will allow me to see that there are questions. Not seeing any, then I will go to the recording. Hold on.
Now is mine by thy grace of love divine.
Thank you, William Alvis. And now, Dr. Holmes.
I'm going to tell you a story about a man who was past 60. He was driving a bakery truck when he first became interested in knowing more about this thing called life. Shortly before this, his daughter had healed herself of a physical ailment through prayer and faith. And this set him to wondering about his own condition. At one time, he had been very successful, but through a change in affairs, he had lost his business, and he was now driving a bakery truck. He came to me one day and told me about his daughter's healing and asked, why can't this power that healed my daughter do something for me? Naturally, I answered, God can do anything. He believed in the power of prayer, and his faith was now supported because his daughter had been healed. And so we worked out a very simple method of procedure for him. We decided it would be a good thing for him to take a few moments each day to meditate and pray, and with this one idea in mind. There is a law of good that is able to do anything. There is an intelligence in the universe that wishes me to be successful. God is right where I am. Therefore, I do not have to go anywhere to find him. The law of good is right where I am. Therefore, I do not have to go in search of it. I live and move and have my being in this divine spirit and this perfect law. I believe it will respond to me. Therefore, I am going to trust it. He was trying to accept the answer to his prayer, even though he had not yet experienced its fulfillment. As Jesus had said, "When ye pray, believe that ye have, and ye shall receive." Let us say that he was in this position. He had a garden plot and seeds to plant in it. He believed the soil could produce the desired crop, and he had complete confidence in the creative ability of life. But he hadn't actually planted the seed. He was hoping for a crop without first having complied with the law of nature, which says, plant the seed. Plant the seed and let the law of good do the rest. Or shall we say, he was like a man who had a hen and a dozen good eggs, and he wanted to raise some chickens. Somehow or other, he had to get the hen and the eggs together. Now the eggs were willing, and the hen was willing, and he was willing. But if he kept the hen in the yard and the eggs in a basket, nothing could happen. It is necessary to put the eggs under the hen, because she knows what to do with them. She just sets on them for 21 days. She rolls them over once in a while and sort of chuckles to herself as she contemplates the happy event that is to take place. You see, the hen doesn't know how to make a chicken any more than you and I know how to create a cabbage. But by some divine guidance, she knows how to set on an egg, and there she sets, as though she were guided by God's intelligence, which of course she really is. But the hen obeys this divine urge within her, and so she sets. And sure enough, in due season, life stirs within the shells, and the little chicks come forth, ready to start the business of living on their own. Well, you and I are not chickens, and we are not eggs, but we could learn a lot from the hen, for she simply sets on an idea until it takes place. Have you and I ever sat on an idea consistently for 21 days without ever leaving it? Have we rolled it over each day in our imagination, like the hen does the eggs, in happy anticipation of what is going to happen? It was exactly this that our friend needed to learn, and he needed to do. He already had the makings, so to speak. He merely hadn't put them together right. You see, he already had the hen and the eggs, with his belief in prayer and his confidence in the power greater than he. He just hadn't got the eggs under him. As I said before, the eggs were willing and the hen was willing, and so was this thing called life, the power greater than we are willing. What he had to do was to place his faith in a relationship to this power which would make it possible for the law of good to do a definite thing for him. Well, this man really sat on his eggs for 3 months before anything tangible happened. But he did sit on them, and he did roll them over in his imagination every day. That is, he had a quiet period each day when he definitely meditated and prayed and generated faith and conviction and came to a complete acceptance. He was waiting in faith, waiting on the law of good and resting in the knowledge that God never lets anyone down. I used to ask him from time to time, "How is it with your faith? Are you anxious? Do any doubts come into your mind?" And he would always say, "No, I am sure something good is going to happen." Sure enough, one day when he was making a delivery at a retail store, the owner said to him, You know, I have been thinking about you lately. I need someone to help me in my business. And how would you like to do that? This our friend took as the first sign, the first leading of the Spirit to a definite conclusion. And so he answered, why, this happens to be the kind of a business I used to be in, and I understand it. And I would be very, very happy indeed to accept your offer. So there was another period of several months during which he worked for the owner of the store. And then one day the owner said, I really want to turn this whole business over to you. I want to retire. And you can take your own time in paying for it. It is a very successful business, and it will pay for itself. And let us add, just like all God's ideas, it will take care of itself. Naturally, the man accepted this offer, and he himself became the owner of the business and ran it for many years, and ran it successfully. But always with this thought in mind. This is God's business. A power greater than I am is directing it. I am in partnership with this power. Now, this is a simple and a true story of something that actually happened. Just one among hundreds of similar stories. Just the simple story of a man who was willing to sit in an idea for 3 months because he believed, and because he was persistent in his faith, and because he trusted where he could not trace. For this is what faith is. There are several viewpoints we can take of this story. We can say, oh, well, it probably would have happened anyway, or it was just chance or good luck. Or we can say, perhaps his story applied to this man alone. And what meaning does it have for me? For I don't want a grocery store. I don't even drive a bakery truck. Or I have problems much greater than his. Well, perhaps you have. But do you think that your problems are too great for a divine intelligence to solve? Do you think the power that controls everything finds it more difficult to hatch out a planet than it does to hatch out an egg? Jesus used just one power, and only one, to heal the sick, raise the dead, and multiply the loaves and fishes. And he didn't say that this power is big in one place and little in another. You see, our friend kept faith with himself, and he kept faith with the law of good, and he took definite time every day to meditate, to pray, to accept. He didn't even know what the law of good was going to do for him, or how, or when, or where. Daily he gave thanks for what he couldn't see. Daily he believed that a way would be opened before him. And surely he had the faith of a little child. And how much you and I need this childlike acceptance. For we all have problems. We are not different from each other because we are all human beings. We all wish to be happy and whole. The most interesting thing about it all, we all have faith. It is born with us. It is just as much a part of us as our hands and feet. We just haven't been using it right. So then, let's get us a hen and some eggs and see if we can't put them together. Let's take some definite idea and stay with it in complete acceptance. Let's take all our wants and needs to that divine source which alone can meet them, and believe that it will meet them. I have no secrets to tell you. I have no power to give you. You just forget all about me. I've just told you a simple, true story about a power that you have access to, about a law of good waiting to be used, and about a simple approach to it that you and only you can make for yourself. Though I have nothing to give you, I have nothing to offer, this thing I am talking about is life itself. life which is already given to you and to me, the intelligence to know, the power to do, and the faith to believe. And what are we going to do with this wonderful gift of life? That's up to us, isn't it? Of course it is. And when once full for us, and the power and the glory of the kingdom of good will embrace us in our every act and in our every thought.
So that concluded the talk, The Secret of Success, from that radio show back in 1950. And so before we go into as Myrna gets ready and has you in breakout groups in just a moment, again, what did you get out of it that was maybe new for you? What reminded you of something you already knew? How can you use this? And ultimately, the question is, what is the secret of success that we can all use? So, in your small groups, discuss that. We'll take, about 12 minutes or so, Myrna? And then we'll come back and discuss it in a large group. So self-facilitate your small groups.
Perfect.
Cantada.
They're waiting for the last 3 seconds. They're coming back.
Glad to see that Blanca plays well with others.
Yes.
Hi, boss. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right.
Hi.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good discussion in your breakout groups and this was beneficial for you. This is what we like to take some time and say, hey, what came up for you in your small group? And if there's something that you would like to share, I think you can either hit the raise hand button on the bottom of the screen, or I can see everybody visually that has their camera on. So if you raise your physical hand, I can call on you as well. So you got options here. Virtual hands or real hands. And Regina, what would you like to share? Regina, you're up.
Just quickly, I wanted to say I've only been at these meetings a couple of times before, and I got the same feeling today in the breakout group. What a joy it is to hear the points of view that the others presented, and how much there's a great warmth that comes across that I find sustaining. And I just wanted to appreciate what they had to say. That's all.
Thank you, Regina. It's always wonderful to get together with like-minded people and then find out, even though you're like-minded, you all are unique in your own ways. What did others, what's up for anybody else? And it's an open floor. Even though I threw questions to you, you can respond to those or your own. Sue Crane, but not Sue, whoever's there with Sue.
I'm Frank. It was good to get this in the form of a parable. You could call it the parable of the sitting hen, I suppose. But it makes a point in a memorable way. It's much like someone who used to teach in parables a long time ago. And it's a very useful and memorable way of bringing these concepts across.
Thank you, Frank. And that's the parable, of course, of the chicken and the egg and the rolling of the eggs. And so it told, and somewhere in that parable, it told us the secret of success. Did anybody pick up on the secret of success?
The parable of the sitting hen.
And what did you get out of that, Frank? What did you get?
Well, patience is certainly a part of that lesson. Not The other thing I keep hearing in our services, or used to hear was that you can't be planting seeds and then digging them up again to see how they're doing.
Yeah. You can't be laying some eggs and then cracking them right after they're laid.
Another
Right.
comparison, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Hey, Anita, I see you got your hand up. You're on.
Yeah, so that parable of the hen, I just had to share that unless of course you had a rooster in the hen house, you can turn those eggs all you want, and you're not going to be successful in getting chicks. But you know, so yeah, what's successful? Yeah, I've got to have my rooster in my hen house.
Okay. And how would you relate to that to your own life?
Well, I guess Mark, it's one of those where my rooster is probably my creative thought and getting clear on what it is that I want to see happening in my life. What do I want to experience?
Mhm.
And once I get clear, then of course planting that thought into the law so that it can make it manifest. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you gotta have that rooster in the hen house to make it
Yeah.
manifest.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Anita. Anyone else? What's your secret to success from Holmes? What did you get from that? Does this have anything to do with faith? Belief in a power that responds to us? Did you get that from it? All right, Barbara, I see you putting your thumb up. You want to expound on that? I'm going to pick on people here for a minute. Barbara, come off mute and let's talk.
Sorry, I have an iPad I'm using right now, so it's a little bit different than my computer because I'm out traveling. But yes, faith. If we don't believe, there's nothing. I mean, we can do stuff all day long, but if the belief is not there, and then of course following that, the patience. There's a part I think about all the time where it says wait. Just wait on the law is what I tell myself if I get anxious about anything. So belief and then waiting. We don't outline, we don't predict. You know, what was the saying? If you want to make God laugh, tell God your thoughts
Yeah.
or how you think it should work. So yes, belief
Your
and
timeline.
faith.
Give him, her, your timeline.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Maete.
Sí, para mí ha sido muy importante recibir
It
esta
has been very
metáfora
important for
tan
me to get this
interesante
metaphor, such
que
an
no solamente
interesting
es importante que
metaphor,
tengas los
that
recursos
it
y
is
la
not only
gallina y los
important for
huevos,
you to
de
have the
hacer que la
resources,
gallina
the,
realmente se
the hen
siente
and the
a
eggs,
degollar los
but
huevos
to
para
have the
realmente
hen sit
tener
on
a
the
esos
eggs
pollitos
so
junto
that
a
you
mí.
can have those chicks
Porque,
next
bueno,
to
yo
me.
soy narradora de
I
cuentos.
am a
Yo considero que
storyteller,
contar
and
cuentos
I
para mí es
consider that
ejercer
telling stories
mi don, mi talento.
is my talent. It is
Y,
my gift.
y siento que a
And
veces por estar
I
preocupada de
feel
las
that sometimes because I
coordinaciones
am
y la
concerned
producción y
about
si me contratan o no
production
me
and
contratan,
coordination, whether
¿no?
I am
Me
hired
pierdo de
or not,
vista de esa
I
esencia que es
I miss
transmitir
the
este
essence
mensaje
of
que va de
transmitting,
sabiduría que
conveying
va
the
con los cuentos.
message of
Entonces, a
wisdom that
veces, por
goes
ejemplo,
with the
ahora hasta
stories.
hace unos momentos,
So up until a few
estaba
minutes ago,
bastante enojada porque
I
no
was pretty
están
upset
difundiendo
because
adecuadamente mi presentación.
my
Ni siquiera hay
presentation
un
is
flyer,
not being
un volante con mi
broadcast,
nombre,
not even a
¿no?
flyer with my name.
Estoy totalmente
Um,
invisibilizada
I
y
am
estaba muy
invisible,
incómoda por
and I
eso,
was quite
¿no?
uncomfortable
Entonces dije, bueno, voy
because
a
of
dejar
that.
de preocuparme
So I
por
said,
esos
I'm going to
detalles que no
stop.
tienen que ver conmigo, ¿no?
I'm going
Sino
to
más bien
stop
me voy a
being
preocupar
concerned about
por lo
those things,
importante que es la
and I am going
sabiduría
to
que se
focus on
transmite a través de las
wisdom
historias que
that is
cuento,
transferred
¿no?
through
Yo ya no puedo hacer más
the
porque no
stories
depende
that
de
I
mí lo
tell.
que hacen los
I'm not going to
organizadores.
do
Si
anything
ponen mi
else
nombre,
because
si no
it's
ponen
not
mi
up to
nombre, si ponen mi
whether they
foto,
write
si no
my
ponen mi
name, my
foto, pero me
picture,
molesta que no lo
that,
hagan,
that
¿no? Porque
it
siento que
upsets me
se
that
está
they don't do
desvalorizando
it
mi trabajo.
because
Sin embargo,
I feel they do not
mi
value my work.
centro es
However,
poner a
my
la gallina
focus
con los
is
huevos,
to
centrarme
put
en
the
la
hand with
sabiduría.
the
Y así
eggs,
haya una
focus on
persona
wisdom.
a la cual
And
yo pueda
if
transmitirle
there is one
esa
person
sabiduría,
that I
eso
can
es lo importante, ¿no?
convey that
Y
wisdom
ya la
to,
vida
that
se
is important.
encargará de darme el
And
100 por
life
1, de difundirme, de
will
valorarme, en
will be in
fin,
charge
¿no?
of
Es muy difícil para
that
mí
value and
mirarlo
that
desde allí, ¿no? Pero me ha
communication.
sido de mucho
But
aporte, la verdad,
it has been
recordarme como ni
very
siquiera voy a pensar en una gallina, me
very
voy a
useful for
sentir
me.
yo
I'm
como
not
una
going to
gallina
think about a hand.
y me voy a sentar en mis huevos, que son
I'm
los
going to
pollitos,
sit on my eggs, which are my
y los
stories,
voy a empollar y los voy a
and
hacer
I'm going to
crecer y van a ser estos pollitos
sit on
picoteando
them
por
and let
todas
them grow,
partes en
and
mi
they will be
presentación de
picking in
mañana,
my
aunque
in
no
my
me hayan
presentation
difundido como
tomorrow.
yo quisiera, ¿no?
Even if
Voy
I
a
did
trabajar
not
también con mi
get
socia de
the
oración porque me afecta tanto no ser reconocida, no ser
presentation,
visibilizada. Quizás necesito
and I'm going
aprender
to
de
work
eso también,
with
porque
my
todo
prayer
viene para
partner,
aprender, ¿no?
because
Muchas gracias.
this affected me, and I know that this came because of a reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Maite. It's
Gracias.
well said. And I appreciate your perspective on it. One thing that came up for me and what you were saying is that not only was there the message of what Holmes was saying regarding the secret of success, but by use of the parable, like Frank was talking about, the storytelling gives it a deeper value because we as humans so appreciate stories, and bringing stories makes the description come alive for us. We can say, hey, the secret of success is know there's only one life, that there's a spirit of good that's in the universe and that you can tap into it. You can say that and understand it intellectually, but the story sort of, by hearing it in a story, it makes it go deeper into the essence of who you are. You get it at a deeper level. And that's what I'm hearing from several of the comments that we're making today. So thank you. Myrna, I see your hand.
Thank you. I want to comment on, because the only thing that I got from the audio, I mean, I heard a bunch of stuff, but there's one thing, and you mentioned it earlier, about faith. There was a question when Ernest says, how is your faith? Am I sure that something good is going to happen? And I was like, well, yeah. And then somebody else, I think it was Frank, that said, okay, if you plant it, don't come and start digging the seeds to find out what's happening and stuff. Just go for it and trust that something good is going to happen. And then have this idea with a complete acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, yeah, if you're going to plant the seeds, if you're going to then also make sure that you know which seeds are you planting, because if you plant the seeds from tulips and you expect marigolds, you won't have marigolds, you will have tulips. So yeah, I wanted to share that about the faith part.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, if we, so much of what we're talking about here ties back to the faith that there's a power that we can tap into. If we dig up our seeds, that's basically by replacing it with thoughts that say, oh, I can't do that, or I can't be that. That's, in a sense, not having faith. If we say it has to show up in my timeline, and the timeline of the divine is longer or shorter than what we're thinking, or the way in which it shows up is different, and we say, no, that's not when, or that's not how, that's not faith either. So faith is knowing that the greater expression is always going to be there for us at the right time. And just knowing that there's a total acceptance of it. But, if we have to believe, you have to believe. And that's the secret, I think, that Holmes was getting at, is the secret is knowing that we live and are immersed in a power that responds to our thoughts and our beliefs. And as long as we can stay aligned in that, then we can manifest and have success in whatever it is that we're desiring in our lives. I see we're getting down to the final few minutes of our Lunch and Learn. Are there any other comments or sharing that anybody would like to make? Anything that hasn't been said yet, or that somebody wants to bring up for the common good of everybody here?
Did I see a hand raised from Jeannie? Did you raise your hand or no?
I was trying.
I thought I saw. I was looking
okay.
for my hand
I thought it
raising.
was
I hadn't found it, but
Thank you, Sammy, for pointing it out. Ginny, I saw it, but I thought it was like a clapping hand thing.
Right.
Probably it's my obvious ineptitude here.
Hey, it's beautiful. We're all working together as one. Jeannie, you're on.
Thanks for your comment that you made before, because it reminded me that we are cause to our effects. Sometimes we don't like to own up to that, by the way, but we kind of are, really.
Mhm.
So, and this power in the universe apparently works with all that. So, I like to think of it as us getting in line, because it's already now, it's already here. Any delay is really us. May not be the individual, it may be other component parts that are all needed to bring it about
Yeah.
in the manifested form. So I'm reminded that in prayer, and to pray for myself, and also to pray for all beings, because we're all one.
Yeah.
So if there's any weakness in the chain, let's get it fortified.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Thank you. Linda, did I see your hand go up?
Yes. So what was new? What was interesting is that he mentions, and I've been studying science of mind since 1980, so I think I've heard it all. And yet, when he said the law is willing, that kind of got to me. The law is willing. It isn't just the law is there, the law is willing. So I really appreciated that. And then on the number 4, the secret to success, yes, faith. I called it trust, and somebody in our group called it perseverance. You
Mm,
wouldn't persevere if you didn't trust and have faith, right?
right.
So anyway, it was just a great, um, what is it that I can know something, but until I practice it, it doesn't really um, feel feel my heart and soul. So
Right.
thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. We're coming into the final minutes here. We're going to want to close on time and honor all of your schedules and times. So I want to just thank you for participating today. I want to remind you the resources available to you as a member or friend or anyone who is interested in the history and resources of the science of mind, that we have a wonderful, wonderful website, which hopefully all of you are availing yourself of. The website has lots of free resources on there for you to use. I will point out just one real quickly, that you can go to our research tools page, and there's a free downloadable Word document that has Ernest Holmes quotes in it that you can search on, that was created by a minister in our movement and made it available to the archives. So that's an example of a free resource. But we have lots of other things that are available either for purchase on a la carte basis, or what's better is to join the archives by way of either subscribing to our website or becoming a friend of the archives at a higher subscription level. By doing that, you get 20 free downloads a month from our website. That includes documents, unpublished works of Holmes, audio files such as the one you heard today, including the complete radio shows if you want to hear the organ music and the other parts of the program. So they're just beautiful, beautiful expressions of our past, and they're useful spiritual tools for ourselves. We have other things going on with the archives, but because I want to bring Kathy into the conversation here, I want her to highlight things that are coming up that maybe you guys all need to know about before we close. So Kathy's our
Thank you.
executive director.
I thank you, Dr. Mark, who is on our board of directors. He's our vice president, and he's also one of our lead and key researchers. So much of that we have is really thanks to Dr. Mark. So thank you. And thank you all for being here. We do have some things. When you're a friend, we've been trying to increase the benefits of being a friend of the archives. And so we have a cool new movie night coming up in June. And so we will be talking about that more. So make sure you're signed up for our e-newsletter, and we'll send out information on that.
Here
Good.
it
Betty's going to
is.
share our new flyer. So this is the premiere of the film, The Science of Earnest Mind. It's free if you're a friend, or $25 to hear. And we're going to have like Dr. Merrill and Leo present to share because he's one of the stars of the film. And so we're excited. So again, make sure you signed up for our newsletter to do that. So I'm going to share my screen, and we have some anniversary dates coming up here. It's just really actually impressive do you believe it was 1 year ago we had our grand opening here at Unity Village? And for those who may not have known, we moved from Golden, Colorado, like on that leap of faith here to Unity Village, and that'll be 2 years ago. So the grand opening is 1 year. The move was 2 years ago. And let me take you to our website real quick. And we had, for many of you who have been around, we had what was called a relocation campaign to raise funds for this move. And now we're starting a brand new campaign, and you are the very first to hear about it. And we're calling it Relocation Phase 2. And it really is about sustainability, to have the funds so we are able to continue to do this really important work of preserving our history, to be comfortably in our new space, and to expand. And so the button we don't talk about much here, honestly, is our donate button. And so we would just really lovingly invite you, number one, to pray. We would love for you to keep us in treatment and prayer. I love the whole talk today about the hen and the eggs, and really tuning into our divine source with faith. That the resources for the archives are abundantly here for each one of you and for us. And one way you can do it is our donate button. It's becoming a friend, but maybe you're called. Maybe this teaching has touched you in such a way. It's like, wow, I want to give on a more sustaining and greater level. So we're encouraging monthly and annual donations, but just honestly, just to go to your heart. I don't know about you, but whenever I donate to a cause, oh my gosh, I feel it so deeply. And so it's your energy and your consciousness and your joy of what this teaching has done for you in your life and what you continue to share into the world. It's so important, especially right now, for this teaching to get out to the world. So we just want to thank you, bless you, and share that invitation. We would just love for you to give it a deeper level. So thank you. And I hand it back to Dr. Mark.
Yes, and before we go with a closing prayer, I just want to remind you that the Science of Mind Archives also has a YouTube channel where we post videos. I see, Frederick, that you came in a little bit late with the time things, but if you want to watch the recording of the full show today, it will be on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. So you can, and if you go to the YouTube and just search on Science of Mind Archives, you'll find our channel come up there. There's also a link to it through the website, the Science of Mind website for the archives. And we post all kinds of things there. There's lots of resources, including some of the 2 videos that we know of Ernest Holmes are available through there, as well as some other resources about Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind that you might not find anywhere else. So unless there's a closing question that anyone has, I'll look for hands real quickly. Going once, going twice. Let's just go within in this moment and know that this time has been a good blessing for each and every one of us, that it's reminded us of the truth of our oneness in this one life, that we know that we are individualized expressions of that one, and that this time together in sharing and coming together in support of the Science of Mind Archives and in learning from the resources of the archives allows us to remember the truth of our oneness, our divine nature, and that available to us is that passion, that perseverance, and that secret of success that is in our hearts. So may we go for it now from here with love in our hearts and bring prosperity and abundance and love and joy to all we do. Thank you, God. And so it is. So thanks, everybody, for being with us today. Thank you.
So it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good to see everyone. God bless.
Aloha.
See you next month.
Yes, I plan to be here.
Next month.
Gracias, Lorenza.
Thank you.